Hello and welcome to this short recording of a standardisation of the new style sample paper for entry level 2. Before you watch or listen further, please scan the QR code to access the Padlet where I've placed the learner response, mark scheme and mark sheet for you to use. Download the learner response to activities 3 to 6 along with the mark scheme and the mark sheet, and use the mark scheme to mark the learner response and give feedback. And then return to this recording to see how your marks compare. So here we have our learner response. We've got 3A to 3D. We've got the mark scheme down there. So if you haven't gone away and looked at the resources, you can pause the recording and do this now. And I'm going to reveal how many marks would be awarded now. It's quite straightforward here. All 4 marks. They've got them all correct. So very easy. 4 marks here. And this is clearly underpinning skills, as indicated by the mark scheme, where we have UPS. How about this problem-solving activity? I'm going to reveal the marks now. So they've got 1 mark out of the possible 3. So unfortunately, they have indicated. Oh, what have they done? They've indicated the banana. They needed to choose all of the fruits that weighed more than 150. So banana was a correct option, but in order to gain the mark, they needed to choose apple as well. So perhaps this learner just saw the banana and thought, oh, well, that's the only option, instead of checking all of the other options. And then for 4C, the learner has given an answer of 4, but unfortunately the only answer that can be accepted is 5. And for this activity, if you haven't already marked it, you can do so now using the mark scheme on the screen. I'm going to reveal how many marks now though. So for the first question, so 4D, they've indicated no, and no is what we want to see, but they haven't given what the mark scheme wants, which is a valid reason. So either Thursday or Friday, or it could be no and 3 days. So it says Ria wants to eat these vegetables this week. She goes shopping on Monday. Ria thinks she'll eat cauliflower 4 days later. Is Ria correct? Not quite sure why they've decided 1 day, or perhaps it's because it's 1 day that Ria's eaten cauliflower. Not quite sure. Perhaps this learner hasn't read the question correctly. So that's something to explore in feedback with the learner. For 4E, they've given an answer of 4. In week 4, they've written 112, and unfortunately, that's not the correct answer. It looks like they've added up, so they've gone to all that trouble of adding up the fruit and vegetables from the other weeks instead of simply looking at and reading that bar chart. And for 4F, the only accepted answer is C, and our learner has put A, possibly due to a common misconception that 200 of anything is bigger than 1 of anything, without actually looking at the measurements. So we've got 200 millilitres is thought to be bigger than 1 litre or 2 litres, which is incorrect. And I'll reveal how many marks for these questions now. So no marks for 5A, and 1 mark for the correct answer. And again, these ones are quite straightforward to mark, because there's there's very little room for discrepancy about what could be awarded and what couldn't be awarded. It's quite straightforward. And for these two questions, I shall reveal the number of marks here. So no marks for 5C, and we've given 1 mark for 5D. There was a little bit of contention in the live session when it came to 5C, because the mark scheme does allow for except written or indicated on the chart for that 15 and 35. Unfortunately, what the learner has indicated, they've circled the bars for Monday and Friday. That is correct. They have indicated those bars, so they've indicated the correct bars, but they haven't indicated the correct numbers. So you can see on the bar chart, we've got a sort of a thick black line for 35, and they've written that in the answer box, but there's no similar thick black line or anything to indicate 15. So unfortunately, they can't get that mark for indicating 15 and 35, and they haven't actually done the calculation to find the 20 kilometers either. And for 5D, we can award 1 mark for the 52 for the number of weeks, but unfortunately they've done the incorrect calculation. So they've done a multiplication rather than a division. So that's the only mark that they can be awarded. And for 6A and 6B, I'm going to reveal the marks now. And we've given 1 mark out of 2 for 6A, because the mark scheme allows 1 mark for showing 70, which we can see they've done that rounding. But then the next mark, to get the 2 marks, we need to see 70 plus 80. 70 plus 10 equals 80. And we can't see that, so we can't get the second mark. And then for 6B, they have the 2 marks, so they've done the 9 times 7, they've reached the 63, and although they've put the pound symbol below the 63, we've allowed that mark, given them the benefit of the doubt. Perhaps the learner was pushed for time and didn't want to write out again pound symbol 63, or perhaps they worried they couldn't write the pound symbol just after the equal sign. Either way, we can see that they've shown the pound symbol and 63, so we've allowed that. And for this question, no marks. So they have indicated a decision. Yes, they've written 6:15, so they've interpreted the 24-hour clock time of 16:15 as 6:15 rather than 4:15. So can't award any marks there. And hopefully you've written your own assessor feedback to the learner here. And what is important, and you can see on the Padlet, I will leave on the Padlet for you the assessor feedback that was left by the attendees at our live sessions. What is good about feedback is it wants to be positive, it wants to be developmental and specific as well. So you're trying to be as specific as you possibly can. And when you are giving your learners their marks for entry levels, you will have the pass mark when you're marking them, so you'll know whether they have passed or failed. However, we would say that when telling a learner that they have passed, you must also tell them that it is subject to review. They won't be able to get their certificate, and you can't confirm that they've passed until you've had your external quality assurance review, or it's been internally quality assured if you already have direct claim status. And just for interest, from past assessments at entry level 2, the pass marks have tended to be between 21 and 23 marks, and it is not expected that they're going to change a great deal when it comes to these new papers. In summary, all maths functional skills assessments are now in the new style. Our mark schemes haven't changed. Please do check with your internal quality assurer if you're unsure on awarding specific marks. And when it comes to giving feedback to your learner, it should be specific and developmental and positive. And do make sure that any learner achievement that you share with your learners, make sure that they're aware that this is subject to review. The IQA feedback to the assessor should also be positive, specific and developmental. If you have any questions after watching this session, please do get in touch. An easy way to put your question to us is to complete the evaluation form on the next slide. So our feedback form for on-demand events is here. You can scan the QR code. It is an anonymous survey. However, you have the option in the last questions, if there's something specific that you want to ask us, then you can choose to give us your contact details. If you don't choose to do that, if you've got no questions but you would like to give some feedback, then we do appreciate your feedback, so please do, and it will stay completely anonymous. But if you've got specific questions and you want us to get back in touch with you, then just let us know by completing that feedback form. You'll find all of our upcoming CPD events from our functional skills events page on the website. It's linked here. And again, you'll find it from that customer and learner support drop down and choosing delivery support. And from the delivery support option, you can see delivery support functional skills, and you can see our events from there. Thank you so much for your time in listening to this recording. I hope you found it useful and helpful. If you've got further questions, you can contact me directly. If you've got questions about the portal or Surpass, please put those to customer support. And if you've got questions on our Skills Builder, our excellent platform for initial assessment, diagnostic and online resources, then please contact the Skills Assessment team. Thank you very much.